When creating your documents to file with the court, whether they're pleadings, motions, or notices, you always want to have a caption, the body, the subscription, and then the certificate of service. So let's go through and see what that looks like according to our rules of formatting. This section that you see here is the caption. With the caption, you always want to have the title of the court. You want to have the names of each first named party. So you see here Wilbur Tennant. They indicate et al. That means there are other parties, but you only name the first named party. Versus, you can just put a V. You can actually spell out versus if you wanted. Either way is fine. And then the first named defendant and the party designation as defendant. Over here on the right-hand side, and if you think of this as two columns, you can even set it up that way. You can see this is set up as a table. You can do that. I think tables are a little onerous to work with. I suggest making this section over here a text box so that you can control the formatting a little bit better. Um, so on the right-hand side, right-hand column, you would include um, case number, and you can put a generic case number in there now. The judge's name, again, you can use this judge. I think you have a judge in the Bennett case that you should use. And then the title of the document itself, which is, um, depending on what you're doing, but a notice to take deposition. You may want to be specific about how you're going to be taking it. So it might be oral examination of, and you include the deponent's name and party designation. Anytime you name a person or a party in this case, you always want to make sure that you include the party designation. Then you go on to have your introductory sentence. Your introductory sentence is the one that says, comes now, whoever is making this, the plaintiff or the defendant, include their name because you always include party designation and party name, by and through counsel, and for, and you would include whatever the name of the document is, states as follows. So this is not exactly correct. This is actually a former student's work, so it's not exactly correct, but you want to make sure that you have that. Then you go through and you include the notice. There is a sample notice in your book. Then you want to make sure you include your subscription. Your subscription is the sign off, if you will. It should say respectfully submitted, have a place for the attorney's signature, have the attorney's name, and a place for the registration number. And again, the attorney's name in the Bennett's case is in your book. Have the law firm name, address, phone number, fax, and email address in there. You also want to include who they represent. So you would say attorney for defendant and include the or plaintiff, whoever you represent, for that party. Then you need a certificate of service. A certificate of service is the attorney's honor system saying that they have sent it to the opposing party. So you could say something similar to this, and there's a sample in your book as well. Um, I hereby certify that on, and you include whatever date it was, served a copy of the, I like how they did this, the within document. I always say the above document. That way you can reuse your certificate of service and not have to worry about changing that name. I see people try to use the name, but it, they forget to. I would not include this Hamilton County case number or anything like that. That's not, you don't include that. And then you would say who you would be sending it to, and you would include a signature line. Now, this example is incorrect. None of that information should be there. You should only include the attorney name, registration number, and then include who they represent, attorney for whomever. In this example, again, I show you this example because not everybody's perfect, and I want you to be able to go through and do this on your own, but you do need to include the name and address as to who you sent it to. So this says to the parties and counsel, but then it doesn't show who they are. So right after this, you should be naming the attorneys who you sent it to and how you sent it. By how you sent it, I mean, did you send it to their address via snail mail, or did you send it email? If you sent it email, include the email address that you sent. If you sent it snail mail, include the actual physical address that you sent it to. Because this is a notice of deposition, you do want to send a copy to the court reporter. And again, you include the court reporter's name and the court reporter's address. This one has a signature line for the court reporter. That's not what you do. Don't include that signature line. This student also sent it to the court. The court does not want to hear from you on this, so you do not send it to them. So that gives you just an overview. A couple other formatting points. The caption should be in all caps. If you choose to bold it all. Don't just bold some parts, but it's not necessary. I don't usually bold it. And the body should always be double spaced. The caption is single spaced. The body is double spaced. The subscription and certificate of service can be single spaced.